What do you think of when you hear 4X? For me, I think of two things. One is hardcore, nearly impenetrable gameplay, and two, time moving at an utter crawl. And I'm someone who likes 4X games, but Weird Giraffe's Stellar Leap tries to take this fully loaded genre and jam it into a cuddly and completely original shell. So let's take a look. The first thing you notice when breaking out Stellar Leap is the contrast, with striking neons that stand out vibrantly against the cold, inky void. And this serves more than creating a cosmetic appeal. It establishes style and tone, a boldness that represents the overall approach to the genre. Stellar Leap has you exploring planets and rows of cards called solar systems, expanding your population to exploit the resources on those planets, and gives you plenty of opportunity to exterminate in about the friendliest, "I'm sorry, but I really need this planet, at least your dude isn't dead" way possible. The core of this game is all about managing your resources and dice rolls, with the first coming from the latter. Now, this game takes the classic I roll dice and everyone collects resources based off of them mechanic from Settlers of Catan and re-implements it in such a beautiful way. See, first on your turn, you roll these two dice, and then you can apply either your personal species power or the universal power that's available to everyone in order to manipulate those dice in some way. And there's a wide variety of both of these types of powers, and they can do things from adding or subtracting from the dice rolls to even flipping the dice over, or even more wild stuff than that. But once you're done messing with it, then you take a look at the dice that were rolled, and all planets and columns corresponding to the two dice and the total of the two dice end up producing resources listed on the planets. In other words, if we roll a 2 and a 4, then all planets with population on them produce in 2, 4, and 6, which you track on your resource tracks on the player boards. From there, it's all about what you do with those resources. Turns move surprisingly fast because of the cap on the actions you could take, brilliantly tracked on your player board. Aside from moving population, which is a free action that can be taken so long as you have the resources to pay for it, players have up to 5 actions that they can take each turn. 2 of these are flexible command actions, which is your 4X-y kind of stuff where you discover and place new planets, create new dudes to hopefully move to those planets, tax your population for 2 resources of your choice, or fight, which really means kick off anyone from a planet that you hold the majority of population on, claiming a token showing that you won a battle. Your remaining 3 actions are up to 1 each of labor, mining, and intel, meaning you can commit a dude to getting resources from a planet, have someone mine from an asteroid, which is found in placed-like planets with diminishing stores of resources, and fulfill missions which cost resources, then give some points and other resources in return. And many of these actions are going to be great ways of triggering events. Event cards. My favorite mechanic in a game already brimming with clever ideas. These are your clock for the game, and they're flipped over whenever players as a whole complete some sort of milestone. Everyone has 3, 6, or 9 population. Event. You complete a row that makes an entire solar system. Yeah, an event. You complete a tier of objective cards. You better believe that's another event. What's cool about these is that there's a bunch of them, and they have these global effects that are going to affect the trajectory of the rest of the game. And they range from the mildly interesting, like one-time effects that give players additional resources or an immediate boost of some kind, to literal game changers, like giving everyone access to much more costly yet also much more powerful versions of the base game actions for the duration of the game. They give each game such a cool and dynamic feel, and there's a certain collaborative tone that I really dig, giving a sense of accomplishment to everyone at the table, even if you're in direct competition. And once 6 of these bad boys flip, then you're going to finish out the round, and that is a game of Stellar Leap. At game end, players score points for their population, the planet they discovered, the battles they won, and a secret objective trait card they drew at the beginning of the game. Speaking of, one of the cooler aspects of Stellar Leap is the complete flexibility and control put into your hands when setting up the game. The species, effectively they're identical with no inherent asymmetry, but at the start of the game you draw 2 species traits and 2 dice manipulating species powers to select one of each, determining your secret goal and unique properties from game to game. This means if you just really love the woolly mammoth pink alien dudes, be the woolly mammoth pink alien dudes every time. You'll still get to experience different gameplay based on the cards. And that's what this game is all about. It's welcoming, it's flexible, and it is fun, though it's not without some faults. While the game plays surprisingly quick at 3 or more players, I found the standard 6 events takes exceedingly long in 2 players because there's just less people able to do stuff, and planets frequently become overpopulated, producing less resources. Overpopulation happens when a planet has at least one population of every player, which is a relative rarity in games with 3 or more players, but an absolute certainty when playing with 2. Go with the short game 4 event variant for 2 players. Similarly, because combat is so non-aggressive and takes one of your 2 precious actions, it feels like a rarely utilized afterthought, both kind of boring and a bit annoying. Also, while I love the concept of having unique sculpted population meeples for each of the species, the pieces feel a bit too small. My beloved space dinos, cool as they are, have a tendency to fall asleep on their job. You'll have to be the judge for where this falls between endearing and annoying for you, though the ambition is a big part of this game's charm. Stellar Leap has a ton of smart design decisions that make it a more welcoming experience while still letting you lean into certain strategies in the game, though the most variation that you're going to get from game to game is going to be dependent on your species, trait, and power cards. Yeah, for some people, the fact that your resources are based off of luck is going to be a complete turnoff, but there's enough ways to mitigate those dice rolls, between the powers to the way that you position your planets to the fact that you can even cohabitate on planets, that it feels like you got a good amount of control. Does it have the best art? No. Does it have the highest production quality? Of course not. Does it have the most nuanced 4X gameplay? Far from it. But this is a damn solid game that has style in spades, and I'll take style, originality, and ambition over the highest fidelity any day of the week. And the overall tone of the presentation, between the slotted player boards and the custom meeples to the way that you customize your player powers, feels like this is a game that wants you, the player, to have a good time. So if you've never played a 4X game, or you want to see a real clever retake on the genre, or you just want a really approachable economic game with frickin' space dinosaurs in it, then I recommend you check out Stellar Leap. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcast, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.